Welcome from AGA International Headquarters in Naples, Florida, Collier County. Never did I imagine that I would find myself to be a grandparent who would, after years of bonding with my grandchildren, be cut off. When I realized I alone could not fix a situation I did not cause, I reached out for help. I came to realize there was no avenue for people with this problem. I did not want my grandchildren to think I would ever give up on them. Therefore, I decided to do something about this traumatic situation I was enduring 24/7 and form a support group. I needed to do something to try to fix this. I could not just give up. On the day I decided to start my organization, I was presented with an advertisement in a psychology magazine for Ann Killinger's, at that time, new book, A Son is a Son Till He Gets a Wife, How Toxic Daughters-in-Law Destroy Families. I thought I was the only person in the country going through this overwhelming emotional devastation until I read the title of her book. I decided to sit in on a local organization's support group meeting just to learn what takes place. I then started making phone calls to different kinds of professionals I knew and respected or had researched. Every one of them said yes to me. They would become a consultant. I wanted to use the background and expertise of others who in any way could help me put the senseless pieces of this puzzle together. We continue to do so. Our consultants met. We developed our mission, our goals, and we gave a name to AGA Grandparent Alienation. Grandparent alienation now has a name. Next, I contacted clergy, attorneys, mental health professionals, authors, national experts on alienation in PAS, and then set up a calendar of featured guest speakers. AGA Incorporated uses this knowledge to share around the world. Father John Ludden of St. John's Evangelist Catholic Church in Naples, Florida, was suggested to me by many. He welcomed us with open arms as a ministry of his church. I then arranged for an article to be written in our newspaper. On September 15th, 2011, I was desperately hoping that perhaps 3 or 4 grandparents would show up so I could talk sincerely with them. Would I even dare to think that 10 people would come? My board of consultants attended that very first meeting, only later to tell me they came to support me because they weren't sure if anyone would attend. Not being familiar with the layout of that church and the many areas of the church, as people came looking for their meeting rooms, I recall thinking, how am I going to direct all of these people where to go? It took quite a while for me to realize that all of these, over 50 people, were coming to my meeting. I was so moved by the sad energy I could sense in this room that I could barely vocalize. So very many sad stories were shared. Our meeting was attended by a writer from our local newspaper, and an amazing feature article was written about AGA on January 5th, 2012 in the Naples Daily News, titled "Love Denied." What we shared in common, she said, was that we loved our grandchildren so much. On October 2012, we received our 501c3 nonprofit from the IRS. We are recognized by the state of Florida Tallahassee Articles of Corporation. Since October 2012, AGA has expanded with strategic alliances in 37 states in America and is represented in 7 countries. We are involved with grandparents' rights legislation in the state of Florida, represented by Jim Carl, attorney, AGA Incorporated board member. One of the most powerful things a family can go through, other than losing a child to death, is for that child to become an adult and then estrange or disown themselves from their parents, often with no justification. And then, as grandparents, we suffer the isolation from our grandchildren as well. Abandonment by our adult children is a global epidemic. I hear the pain from 37 states and 7 countries. I identify with it. Being disconnected from our grandchildren is excruciating. I know. I live with this unbelievable distress too. Creating this organization was what I did when I realized I could not fix this. I wanted to find someone else who was going through this. I wanted to understand this chaos. I wanted answers. Hopefully, by bringing awareness to this horrendous situation, and as AGA continues to expand into every state or county in America, we will not only grow in numbers, but in power. We are the baby boom generation. Together, we can create a huge effect. In the state of Florida, AGA is now participating actively in creating grandparent visitation legislation. We give grandparents a voice, and we must be the voice of our grandchildren. I suggest you contact your legislators as well and bring awareness to our plight. We must create a grandparent movement. The unjustified, abusive behavior of our adult children is creating a lifetime of emotional problems for our grandchildren and for us, the grandparents. AGA has given this most painful grief, this bewildering phenomenon, a name. For each of you in attendance, I am grateful that you have found us, and so very grateful that I have found you. Discovering that you are not suffering this devastating emotional trauma of alienation alone is huge. At AGA meetings and on our website, www.aga-FL-for-Florida.org, we focus on the struggle so many grandparents have in bringing part of their grandchildren's, being a part of their grandchildren's lives. AGA enables you to share with others who are living the same emotional trauma. AGA allows you to express your feelings and situations. With us, you do not have to validate yourself. We get it. With support, the trauma is minimized. We intend to offer support, understanding, and help validate the feelings of those suffering with a level of alienation. We provide skills to cope better in your daily lives. AGA will work toward bringing alienated grandparents, parents, and grandchildren together. At each meeting, one of our professional participating consultants provide knowledge in their field of expertise. These consultants offer strategies to help relieve the pressure and heal relationships with your adult children, and present coping skills to help manage your emotional pain. This is followed by an interactive discussion. Grandparents who attend will remain anonymous so that everyone will feel free to openly share their feelings and perceptions. After the meeting, grandparents may consult individually with AGA professionals who are attending the meeting. The meeting does include time for questions and answers. Alienation is endemic in our society and globally. It is an epidemic affecting families that has no socioeconomic boundary. Alienation is willful intimidation. It is considered by the experts in alienation to be a severe form of child abuse and a severe form of elder abuse. When you come to understand that you did not cause this, therefore you cannot fix this campaign of denigration and domestic violence against you, then you can stop blaming yourselves. You will come to an understanding that you should not be embarrassed by this estrangement or isolation from your own children. Instead, you will realize that each of us is likely dealing with young adults' issues, often the result of personality disorders and unresolved childhood issues. This is a delusional disorder. This is mind control. This is brainwashing. This is cult-like thinking. It is important to realize that the spouse often takes on the personality of the alienating toxic spouse. Through neuro-linguistic programming, through mind control, their objectives are established. One spouse may be used as the bully to keep you away. This is classic triangulation. There are enablers, pathological liars. There is often raging and jealousy. There are expectations and the entitlements of the me generation. If you experience raging from your adult child, what they are not saying to you but mean is, don't you see what I go through at home? Don't you know what it's like for me? When you call or come around, it makes things worse. Grandparents are forced to put up with these abusive behaviors of our toxic daughters-in-laws, sons-in-law, daughters, or sons. We walk on eggshells. For the past 2 years of our existence, those in attendance have learned so many significant things from the very respected national and international experts. AGA provides you with the most professional and current knowledge and insight so that you may come to an understanding of the complex dynamics of grandparent alienation. We may not be able to fix this right now, but we can educate ourselves to understand the many and varied dynamics involved in this complex reality of alienation. Understanding does help us cope better. Knowledge is power. When we hear an expert say something with which we can personally identify, a light bulb goes off in our minds and a new piece of the puzzle comes together. If each of you take away even one piece of information from each of our speakers, process it, and then apply it to your adult children and grandchildren, eventually you will see a clearer picture. Understanding the complexities of alienation can help you strategize your personal situations. Perhaps not winning each battle, but winning this war. Take good care of yourselves so that you will be there when your grandchildren can see you. Unfortunately, AGA has learned of several suicides in places where AGA is not yet available. Because of AGA, professionals who have studied PAS, parental alienation syndrome, are now actively involved with GA, grandparent alienation. For this assistance, we are deeply grateful. If you have not already done so, I encourage you to fill out our survey on grandparent alienation so that we may analyze the questionnaire and prepare a paper for national publication. This will be a critical advancement for grandparent alienation. The survey our board members have created will be analyzed by our professionals and will eventually be prepared for publication. I am proud to tell you that one of our board of directors is presently working toward her PhD with her dissertation focusing on grandparent alienation. Many of those who have studied PAS are now actively involved with grandparent alienation. They have stated AGA is the first successful grandparent alienation organization in our country. We can bring awareness from what we have learned. Perhaps through knowledge gained, we can prevent others from reaching a higher level of alienation. Experts tell us to take any opportunity we can to communicate with our grandchildren, or to find a bridge person who can communicate to them the fact that you are a good person. Our grandchildren are not being allowed to develop their own critical thinking skills. Grandparent alienation is mind control. It is brainwashing, and it does have the characteristics of cult-like behavior. We have been told that if we have had the opportunity to bond with our grandchildren, we will have a better chance for reunification in the future. We have learned that when your grandchildren do get to spend time with you, they will thaw from their fear, from the brainwashing attempts. Remember, your grandchildren are being forced to go underground with their emotions. They know they must comply with their parents' wishes. This is child abuse. This is elder abuse. Grandparent alienation is a situation whereby you are truly a victim. This is considered by the experts in alienation to be a severe form of child abuse and a severe form of elder abuse. And abuse is never acceptable. It is never okay. Because we have a deep love for our children and for our grandchildren, we tend to allow abuse to continue, whereby otherwise we would walk away. And yes, we must come to the realization that our years are numbered and that we must not waste what time we have left. We must cherish those who are close to us, those who do care about us and do provide us with companionship and opportunity. I hope you realize how important it is to appreciate these people in your lives, those who truly care about you and love you. What would we do without these people? We must create our own happiness aside from our devastation. And of course, we shall continue each day to include a time to celebrate in our minds our grandchildren. Try to enjoy something special each day of your life, and never give up on your grandchildren. They would not want you to.